February for the 28th minutes. We went ahead and did the 25th. You weren't here, so we went ahead and did those minutes.
Yeah. And this we already approved, right?
Yes,
The state.
that's what we did on the phone.
Don, you just need a comma after received under my last motion there. After received, excuse me.
The last one you said?
Yeah, it's just a grammatical thing. It's not a correction, really. I'd move to approve the minutes from February 28th, 2018.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the February 28th minutes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Did you approve the...
No, we haven't.
I'd move to approve the March 2nd, 2018 minutes.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the March 2nd. Is that what it was?
Second. Mm-hmm.
Special meeting to put the fire ban back on. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. We approved the end of the month accounts payable meeting and payroll meeting, and then we had a meeting over the phone that was just a brief conversation to reinstate the burn ban for the county.
Rhonda, I guess we'll go ahead and start with you guys.
Okay, I'm here for my monthly update. We are getting ready to mail out valuation notices. 2018, we have 5,086 parcels that we will be mailing out. Residential assessment rate is 11.5%. Farm buildings are 25%. Commercial land and buildings is 25%. Other is 30%. Vacant lots is at 12%. And ag use, ag land is 30% of ag use. Here's a copy that you guys can have of this. It tells you the information that I just gave to you. And then we're going out in the middle of the month.
Okay, so I was confused while you're on this percentage chart.
Mm-hmm.
Just going back to the gravel pit discussion, if we are classifying them as commercial,
They'll be at 25%.
right, but if it's already devoted to agricultural use, which is at 25%.
No, ag use is 30%
Of land use.
of land use. Agricultural is 30% of use value.
Okay, that's where I was getting confused as far as why we would change the status of that.
Use value is not market value. Commercial land is market value.
Okay,
Use value is not market value.
so is that a state-determined value?
That is, yes. That the K-State and Department of Revenue does our ag use values. Ag use, there's a value for each soil type and each, if it's crop, pasture, tame land.
And what time of year do they come out with that for you?
January.
They come out with that on.
No, we've been getting, it used to be January. This year we got it in December.
Okay.
So the 2018 values for ag use came out in December.
At the last of the year for the following year.
Yes. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
It used to be January before we got them, but this year they did get them out to us before that.
So if you have land devoted to agricultural use, and then you convert it into a gravel pit for anyone or the county to be using, you're actually getting 5% less valuation if that amount were to be about equal in the value.
No. Okay. Commercial land is done at what I say a market value.
Mhm.
So, commercial land, if it's at $1,200 an acre, then it's taken times that 25%. Ag use land, let's say it was in pasture, it would have been probably valued at $47 an acre. And
So
then
where
taking that
are
times
those
30.
numbers that the state gave you this year, so we know like what per acre the valuation was that was given for
For each
2018?
soil type, I can give that to you.
Okay.
I can get that to you. We have, 30-some different soil types maybe? And there's a different value for each soil type.
So is that up to your office to determine how many acres of
Yes.
whose land is
Yes.
valued at which soil type?
Right, because on our mapping system, we have a layer that has a soil line. And I don't know if you've ever seen a soil survey map.
No, I
The
haven't.
lines go crazy all over. And then we have a layer that delineates if it's crop, pasture, waterways, irrigated, CRP, a layer than that. And then that's that's how then it's calculated per acre for that soil type. What it falls into.
So what is the
Okay.
most expensive soil type?
I don't know what the most expensive soil type is, but it runs around. Okay, here's one that I printed off, it's mine, so this is my last year's. Okay, we have wasteland, and we have pasture, we don't have any cropland. This is a building site. So here we have 200.8 acres of 83 acres of 3396 soil type, which is use value of $32 an acre.
On your pasture?
On that soil type of my pasture. I have another soil type, and then these are tame grass, which would be the brome field we have.
Mm-hmm.
And those are those soil types and the values.
So just out of curiosity, if you had an actual acreage that was for cropland, what is the maximum someone is being taxed? What is the valuation per acre?
Can you give me 2 seconds?
Yeah. Oh,
Let me
yeah.
run upstairs.
Yeah, awesome, thank you.
On the local level, we're responsible, we start out, we delineate out whether it's in cropland, pasture, irrigated, if it's waste, if it's got waterways. Then we transpose the soil types on it. And we measure out each soil type within each use type to get a number of acres in that soil type. That's the extent of what we do. Then property valuation department provides us with a per acre price for each soil type.
Which fluctuates by the year.
Right.
There's each of the soil types. Okay. This would be dry land is cropland. So the most expensive one is 3844, which is $358 an acre. I think that's. And then this NG's pasture, and this is tame grass, which is waterways and brome.
What's NG stand for?
Native grass.
Native, okay.
And then this is irrigated. And that's irrigated. So you can see there's quite a few different soil types.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on.
And
What
so
falls what?
your office is determining the acreage amount for each soil type on any one
Yes.
particular parcel
Right. To
through
delineate.
your mapping system?
Yes. We used to do the mapping by hand and had to do a
Mhm.
preliminary deal,
Mhm.
but now it's
So which one
GIS.
of you does that?
mapping, Terry does the mapping. Terry does the computer mapping part.
Did we figure out what's happening to the land that has been a gravel pit once it's done, finished?
Once it's finished and it's covered up again, for probably the first year, it would be done as waste, because there's, nothing in it. Once it goes back to either cropland or pasture, if it's in pasture, it's just gonna go to pasture. But if it's in a gravel pit that's in cropland, and once it's reclaimed, and if it goes back to crop, then it'll go back to crop, and whatever soil type it falls in, just depends on.
Yeah, oh, go ahead.
And we've done this way for 30-some years. Reappraisal was started and implicated in '90. All three of us have been in the office working together since, well, I've actually been there 37 years. I know, I've been there longer than some people have been around on earth. And yeah, Terry's been there 32 years, and Truett's been with us for 30 years.
Truett,
And
would you kind of explain to us exactly what you do in the office, please?
Okay, well, I contract with the county to perform certain parts of the reappraisal function. It starts out at the beginning of it, should be June, but I usually start about May, doing the data collection, where we're required to go out and regather data on 1/6 of the county every year. Where you go out, you physically get out, either talk to the homeowner or leave a card, check all the buildings, walk all around the different buildings, look at their conditions. And then that will run through about August, and in between that time I do what's called a neighborhood analysis, where then analyze the different neighborhoods as to what the sale prices are in them, what the building values are, to check the trends as to whether if the neighborhood's declining or if it's accelerating. Then I take and start the land pricing, because the residential and commercial land is done at market value. Take all the sales within the last 6 years and compare those, come up with a per acre, per square foot, a front foot price for the land. Once that's done, mobile home depreciation is a study is done on it. There is the residential depreciation, which is a big portion of it.
Do you do the residential and commercial value market analysis yearly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's required by state statute.
And when do you present the valuation numbers for the following tax season or year?
Well, they'll be mailed out
in the middle of this month.
middle of this month.
Yeah.
Everything has to be valued as of January the 1st. Like 2018's value will be mailed out as if it was January the 1st, 2008. If you had started a house in November and you were only 50% complete, you'd only be charged for 50% of that value, because
What it is. Everything's done what it is January 1st.
Okay, on the individual property, but I'm talking about when you set the actual calculation for market value that you have calculated over the last 6 years, when are you determining what that market value price is going to be taxed based on?
Okay, there's studies done to build models, like for the land or for the depreciation. And that happens in from October back through August to do those studies. We do a linear regression model for homes. But the actual values on individual homes will not be set till the end of the, well, I think this year finished up about the middle of February.
Yes, okay,
For the
to,
following
Okay.
tax year.
no, this year.
For
For
2018.
We're just getting done doing 2018.
It's confusing, it's 2017 taxes were just paid in December. We'll get a value for 2018, those taxes won't be done due till December of the next year,
Of 18.
of 18.
for this-
Right, for the whole year that has passed.
Right.
But when you when do you actually set the value of the commercial property? Or
Okay.
the,
I think I know what she's asking.
Okay,
We do what we call final review, and he goes out and looks at every improved property. And with his, what we have a comp sheet, he looks at the values on it. Those are what he goes by, and then it comes into me, and that's what we, you know, he says, okay, I want this to be in value, that's what gets set. So this process of final review takes 3 or 4 months to do.
yeah, it will start
And
in
stuff.
November.
So we start, yeah, like in November, but we just finished, like the commercial stuff, we just finished up working on values on commercial. Right now, he's finishing up doing elevators and stuff. So I mean, you can't say it's a one date that we set this value. It's an ongoing thing for a couple months because we do final review and look at all the properties and stuff.
but when you analyze the last 6 years to come up with the fair market value.
That's
because
in
you have,
October and November,
okay.
when you're doing market month.
Before the
Yeah,
end of
that
the
actually
year,
starts
because
in
then once you
September.
finish your final review this time of year, then you have to
Right.
mail that out based on what you already came up with
Right,
as
right,
an
right.
assessed valuation number. Okay.
Right,
That's what I'm
yeah,
getting at.
yeah.
So so that happens before the end of the year.
Correct.
But the process for the individual properties is ongoing until you
Correct.
actually mail out the
Correct,
tax. I gotcha.
yes, uh-huh,
Understand.
yes. Okay, so then that's, all these analysis and stuff, we gotta do to build up to getting the market modeling so we can set the values on the properties. Like he said, he starts, in the middle of the year to work on 2018 stuff.
So when you have a property that is there's a transaction between like a father and a son, let's say, for $1 or something like that. Is that calculated into the fair market value?
No, there's a statutory definition of what a valid sale is, and it's a willing buyer and a willing seller, neither acting under duress to buy or sell.
The other thing we had talked about, are we able to mail out, when we mail out the tax bills, the property record cards?
It's too time consuming and too much, like this one, there's 4 pages to it, or 2 pages, 4 pages. And most of ours are this many pages. So that's a lot of paper, a lot of time to fold and stuff. Now, on our website, under Appraiser, for the last probably 4 or 5 years, we have had a link that you click on for parcel search. And you can click on that and look up anybody's parcel you want to. Or if you want one of these, you can come to the office, or you can call us and we will email it to you. But it's too cost.
It's called a
It's not-
property record card?
Yes, we call them PRCs, property record cards. It's not cost efficient to try to send these out. For one thing, a lot of paper, time, and our postage would
So
go way
you
up on
are
it.
responsible for updating the property record cards on the online link?
Okay, it's Orca.
Oh, okay, so
It's
you're talking
Orca.
about the already existing database, it's not something for Lincoln County?
Yes, it is. Lincoln County stuff is on there.
It's on there, but that's the state database.
No, Okay, Orca has a website where you can go on. Every year, we send they pull our new information from Lincoln County. They don't pull it from the state or anything. When we tell them we're ready for
But
them.
it's not your website. It's,
Yes, it's on the Lincoln County
But
website.
Kansas-
The
Kansas
link is
doesn't-
on the county website.
Yeah, the link is, but it's not a
Yeah.
Kansas website that you're referring to. Orca is open records for Kansas appraisers, right? Or,
No.
what is
Right,
it?
and so
Yeah.
that's the state website.
Yeah,
for
okay,
Property, for
Yeah,
property
the state,
information.
but the
Their
state,
data's their
Yeah.
website.
But the information comes from us. Like after we certify now by the 1st of June, we'll tell Orca, okay, pull our 18 value information, and they will put it out there. And that, when you click on our link on our appraiser's part, it will pull up the Lincoln, and I have the 2018. Right now it's 17 stuff out there.
mhm.
But yeah, this has been on our website for probably 5 years, ever since Orca, where anybody can go on that and click on that partial search, and it will pull up. You have to have a name or an address, a part of the name and an address to pull it up.
Orca's only 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah,
Well,
well, for us to get it, yes. 4 or 6 years, I don't remember how old, but yeah, it's been, and it's, we got they did a current update to it, and that's been put on, so it pulls up the current format or whatever you want to call it and stuff. So the information, and we do have people that will, call and want a PRC card, and, we'll email it to them. So there is easy ways of getting the information, but it's just not cost efficient to mail out PRC cards to everything.
So if someone wanted to know if everything's being calculated correctly or what their soil number is, then they would have to
They can-
request that information and
Yeah,
compare
or they
it
can
to
go
what.
on the website and see.
And then you'd have to calculate 30% of whatever this number is that they're giving you under the code of however many acres. And that says how many acres in what code.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Okay, I think our time is.
I just have one more question.
Okay.
They're talking about, is it the black box or black storefronts, or is that anything in Lincoln? Do we have any of that in Lincoln?
the only thing we have.
Big
with
box.
Big buck,
Doesn't that be
Dollar
50,000
General would be
square
the
foot?
only thing that we.
Dollar General would.
Yeah, and we've already accepted the black box theory.
I see, okay.
So even, the fighting it out in Johnson County.
Yeah, well, I knew it.
What does that mean?
Okay, the Dollar General out here sold for a lot of money, and what the people bought was an income stream. Dollar General don't want to be in the real estate business, but they will give you a lease for 25 years and guarantee you a 5% return. All right, if Dollar General pulls out and you have to sell that to Terry or Aljo or to you, it's not going to sell for half of what it did. So Johnson County, I don't know what's right and wrong. I know what my opinion is, but some people, like Walmart and those, they count them with their current lease. And some people value them based upon, if it was vacant, what would it sell for? If it didn't have that
So that's the black box.
right.
They're just trying to make it uniform. That's what the
Right.
legislation's about, make
Yeah,
uniform statewide.
yeah.
Okay, anything else?
Good.
Did you have a progress report that your
Yeah.
invoice indicates that you
That
keep track?
invoice, I should have updated it years ago. The state quit requiring that in the mid-2000s. And, we went from, used to, I got paid based on the percentage done. And we just divided it up into 12 payments. And,
So do you keep mileage?
well, not to the county I don't, I do to the IRS.
Anything he does for his contract, he has to pay for. Like when we started out and he had people help him for data collection, he paid for it, the county did.
I pay my own mileage, my own, workman's comp, my own liability. The only thing county pays is what they pay me.
Yeah, it's a contract amount each month, that's all he gets.
And is that renewed yearly?
3 years,
Every 3 years.
3 years. And in the time he's been here, we've only raised the amount once on his contract.
And you do how many counties?
3. Varying amounts in different counties. Ottawa County, I have basically the same setup. And Rice County, I just do the analytical work there.
So then every 6 years, you have trekked the entire county.
Numerous times, because like I say, I do 1/6 every year. I ride the entire county, every road, once a year.
And you either knock on the door and meet someone or
Not on final
leave a...
review,
On this 1/6.
on the 1/6.
On the ones, so every 6 years, you're either leaving a note on someone's door
Right.
or talking to them. So
Right.
everyone in the county that's been here longer than 6 years has seen you or gotten a note from you.
Plenty of times.
Yeah,
Plenty of times.
yeah.
That's interesting. I have quite a few people that don't recognize any of that process in my area. Do you come out to the west side?
Oh, yeah.
We do. It was just out there this year, wasn't it?
Yep. Out there, yeah.
And we got the return cards that people leave.
And we leave cards, you know, people don't return them, but you know.
We have cards with the postage on it.
No, everybody has seen, about everybody in the county has seen through it quite a few times.
But sometimes they do blow away. Sometimes we get cards that was left 8 or 9 months before.
Yeah, they don't turn them back in. We're in somebody else's time.
Thank you for coming in. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Uh-huh.
It's only 8.
Okay, Shirley, I guess you're up here.
Yes. I'm here for the Sylvan Senior Center. We, the officers and members of the Sylvan Senior Center, hereby formally notify Lincoln County that our organization does not recognize the Lincoln County Council on Aging as a legitimate steward of Lincoln County elderly service mill levy money, nor are they a public agency having any statutory authority over the Sylvan Senior Center. The SSC is a registered, independent Kansas non-profit charity organization. Despite the LCC's continued effort to make up their own bureaucratic rules and act like the IRS, they have no real statutory or regulatory power over our organization. They have no rights to force bylaw changes in our organization or change our membership rules as they have recently attempted to do. The LCCA board has subjected any nonprofit seeking funds to comply with the endless, erroneous, and unequally enforced compliance rules that change nearly every board meeting. With respect to the SSC, these erroneous, ever-changing rules only serve as bullying, harass, and malign our organization. Sylvan Senior Center received only a few $1,000s last year out of the many tens of thousands of dollars given to the LCCA and its board. But the SSC has had to make in-kind donations of thousands of dollars in free administrative volunteer labor just to comply with the endless rules made up by the LCCA. All those wasted hours to comply with the endless rules made up by the LCCA. All those wasted hours attempting compliance with unnecessary rules were hours that we could have spent providing more elderly services to our community members. In the future, Sylvan Senior Center will only accept elderly service mill levy money directed from the Lincoln County, and abide by the reasonable record-keeping and annual filing provision of KSA 45-240. If Lincoln County is truly serious about expanding elderly service programs throughout the county, then we will begin allotting this money directly to nonprofits throughout the county and stop giving all the mill levy monies to the County Council on Aging for their exclusive control.
To each incumbent that they do that, correct? Wasn't that part of what we discussed?
I sent them a letter, but because this is the first, in all fairness, because this is the first year, I'm not always the greatest at opening mail. I don't know how many.
But I'm saying that was part of our scenarios. We said we would send the incumbents a notice to request reappointment, and then we were advertising, and we did get quite a few people with interest here. So I had that first
I
letter.
think the only ones we haven't talked to is Kathy.
Right,
And
right. But when I didn't get him and I saw there was no one else, I figured the protocol is probably just appoint, and then if he wants to
That's
be
fine.
released.
Yeah. I think everybody else has been confirmed, except for those two that went off to the transportation board. And they've been, there are people that have asked to go on it, so.
Okay, so where did I just see that letter? So do you want to start at the top?
I would do them all, I do them all at once. And
Well, I
then
think we need to discuss what the,
about
I
the
mean,
preservation board, we need to decide who we're gonna appoint.
okay, well, for Barnard Rural Fire District, we have Jim Harlow is the incumbent seat, but did not write in. and
Yes,
then
he
we-
did.
we-
I visited with him. I visited with him and I visited with Greg.
Okay, and then we have also for Barnard Rural Fire District, Robert Keach, which I was looking for his letter.
It's there somewhere.
I saw it.
It's a really long one.
Here it is. Okay, addressed to us. I'm interested in the position of board member, Barnard Rural Fire Department. I have many qualifications for this position, being president of a 300-plus member public school union with a multi-million-dollar budget, to serving as chairman of the Auburn Respite Care Program, board member and executive committee member of Hilltop Action Coalition, to treasurer and chaplain of the Auburn Optimist Club. I am currently a member of the Barnard Rural Fire Department. Prior to this, I was the chief of the Barnard City Fire Department, a member of the Lincoln Rescue Squad, a member of both Lincoln and Mitchell County EMS, and a weather watcher. County board members may feel free to examine my emergency services credentials maintained by Lincoln County Emergency Manager David Doe at his office. I hope to continue the work of the current members of the board. They have done an excellent job and have been a pleasure to work with on various projects. I look forward to interviewing for this opportunity to serve the residents of Barnard Rural Fire District. Bob, Robert Keach. And so for that position, and then you said you visited with Jim Harlow,
Yes,
who has
I
been on the
visited.
board,
Yes,
and he indicated that
he wants to, he will continue, yes.
he wants to because,
Well, number one, he's been on the board quite a while. Number two, he's a farmer there in the northern part of that fire district, which is in Mitchell County, actually.
mhm,
So we have a representative out of Mitchell County.
mhm. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Talking to me.
Anyone, I mean, I
No, I think Jim's done a good job on there as far as I know. He's also a firefighter.
Yeah, I think this one said he is currently on the fire department and he was chief of the city fire department and EMS. I would move to appoint Robert Keach to Barnard Rural Fire District.
Got a motion on the floor to appoint Robert Keach to the Barnard Rural Fire District. Do I have a second? Motion died for lack of a second. You gotta go through these one at a time.
Yeah.
You wanna him.
I
Okay.
think that would be
I would
appropriate.
move to reappoint Jim Harlow to the Barn Fire Department.
Second.
Have a motion, second to reappoint Jim Harlow to the Barnard Fire District. All those in favor say aye.
Are you gonna ask
Aye.
for discussion?
You want more discussion?
I think that's proper protocol is you make a
Okay.
motion in a second. And
Well, you just
discussion.
discussed it for I don't know how long there, so.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I'm wondering what credentials you think would, trump the credentials that were listed by Mr. Keach and his interest for the board.
I would say the number of years of experience that he already has being on the fire board. And also being on the fire department for, I have no idea how long.
So you're saying because you have an incumbent that's been there a long time, that serves the position better than someone who showed interest by listing other credentials?
I think in some cases it does.
Okay.
There other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay?
I'd move to appoint Greg Morikel, Beverly Rural Fire District.
I have a motion to appoint Greg Moracle, Beverly Rural Fire District. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
I'd just like to state that we have no other interest that has been submitted to us.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
I would move to appoint Jay Core, First Rural Fire District.
Second.
He's the only person that was interested. Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hunter Rural Fire District.
I move to appoint Doug Salter to Hunter Rural Fire District.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to appoint Doug Sulzer. Is there any further discussion? Not, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Um,
Oh yeah,
just
here's
for-
your letter, John.
Just for point of clarification, I will add when the term expires to each of these motions, if that is okay.
Yes.
That would be
Okay.
great, thank you.
Sylvan Grove Rural Fire District. Brock Mueller is an incumbent, currently serving on the board. He expressed interest in continuing to serve.
Yes, he resent what Dawn sent him and wrote, "I will stay on board," or "I will stay on," and then signed.
I would move to appoint Sylvan Grove Rural Fire District Brock Mueller. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to appoint Brock Mueller to Sylvan Rural Fire District. Is there any further discussion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, repeater board.
I move we appoint Jay Core, John Almquist, and Jeremy Webke.
Was that a motion?
Yes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to appoint Jay Core, reappoint Jay Core, John Alquist, and appoint Jeremy Webke to the repeater board. Is there any further discussion?
We had a Randy Rathman expressed that he does not wish to continue, and he did give a recommendation for Jeremy Webke, who
Yes,
did,
he did.
who did present his interest, so just an explanation there
Did you
for those
second
three
that?
positions. I seconded.
Okay, I apologize.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I would just like to read the letter from Jeremy Webke, because we're appointing him as a new member. I'm interested in the position of Lincoln County Repeater Board. My qualifications include the following: technician class amateur radio license, general class amateur radio license. I joined Barnard Rural Fire on 2/3 of 2010. I was elected president of Barnard Firefighters Association 11/5/2015. I completed FEMA's Incident Command System, IS 100, ICS 200, ICS 300, ICS 400, IS 700, IS 800. I also have completed a 2-day class in Topeka for auxiliary communications by the Department of Homeland Security. I have already attended numerous repeater board meetings and a very active member on the Barnard Fire Department. I also played a key part in acquiring a free truck from the Kansas State Forestry Service and finding free labor to paint and fabrication work through the Department of Corrections. I look forward to serving the residents of Lincoln County. Jeremy Webke. Okay, there's that one.
Moves to the hospital board.
I'll move we reappoint Alan Serene.
We have 2 people that are interested in that position. Could we please read their letters before we make the appointment?
Guess you can read it during discussion if I can get a second to my motion.
That's very indicative of your intentions, sir.
I read it through them a little while ago.
Well, I did not receive these prior, so you're privy to information that I'm not.
I read through them while we were on recess.
Okay. Have you read them, Aljo?
No, not all of them. Some of them I have.
So you're willing to appoint someone without even reading the letter of...
Go ahead, make fun of me all you want to. I'm big, I can take it.
It's just astonishing. I'm not making fun. I'm astonished.
He's a long-standing board member that's very active. He's also very active in the foundation, raising money.
Everyone
He's
has
done
their
an extremely good
qualifications and
job.
capabilities. Everyone does. And that's why we're doing appointments, and we requested, I know this is the first time that you've ever requested that anyone else get involved besides the people that you personally appoint, but this is an important process, and it's part of what our duty is as stewards of tax money.
Well, go right ahead and read it then. I already did, I told you.
Okay. Dear sirs, as per a letter of January 4th, 2018 from Don Harlow, Lincoln County Clerk, I am expressing my intent to serve on the Lincoln County Hospital Board of Trustees. I have considered my past terms as challenging and rewarding. I would work to bring the highest quality health care to Lincoln County that the residents deserve. Thank you, Alan Serene. And who was the other
Cody
applicant?
Flynn.
It's an email.
Cody Flynn. To Dawn, I saw the ad in the paper for help on boards, and I would be willing to help out on the hospital board and the crime restitution board. Let me know anything else I might need to do. Thanks, Cody. Okay.
I have a motion on the floor to reappoint Alan Serene to the hospital board. Do I have a second? I will second. Is there any further discussion?
I guess I would just, on that note, maybe next term when we do this, we should instruct them to list an expression as to why, because I know that our letter to them just said, if you have any interest in continuing to serve, send me something, which Alan did give his analysis of his past experiences. But I guess the ad just says, submit your request in writing by identifying the board, the name, and contact information. So I would say kudos to those who went a little bit above and beyond and gave their information. Maybe we could just add that next time just to help us make our decisions.
You just have a motion, do you have a second yet, Norm?
I have it, you seconded.
Okay. There's no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we had 2 people going off the transportation bus. Neither one of them wish to continue. We're presented with 2 names. Janet Dallin from the Barnard region and Joe Buttonhoff to take Paul Kucherov's place.
I'll move we appoint Janet and Joe.
I'm sorry, who was the second one?
Joe Buttonhoff. She lives southwest of town here.
Okay. I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, brings up the Crime Victims Restitution Board. Alicia Woods is currently a member, and we got a letter from Bree McReynolds Betts.
Okay, I'm looking for
I think they
Alicia.
both should have.
Lisa's was an email.
Email, is that what you said?
Yeah.
I'm missing it.
Oh, I saw them.
Oh, here it is. I'm sorry, I had it pulled out already. Okay. Elisa, an email to Dawn. Good afternoon. I received your letter in the mail concerning my board appointment. I would be interested and willing to continue to serve on this board if so needed. If you need any further information from me, please let me know. And
It was a letter.
oh, here it is. Okay. To whom it may concern, I believe in the importance of volunteering in Lincoln County. I am submitting an interest in serving on the following board: Crime Victims Restitution Board. I can be reached at the contact information listed below. Thank you, Bree McReynolds Betts.
Move we reappoint Alicia Woods.
Have a motion on the floor, reappoint Alicia Woods to the Crime Victims Restitution Fund. Do I have a second? I will second. Is there any further discussion?
Do we have, are any of these boards with a term limit?
Yeah, they all do. They're 2 or 3 year terms.
You mean
No.
how many times they can be
Oh,
voted?
limits? No, not that I'm aware of.
So any of these boards, the same person can stay on, and their term is 2 to 3 years, and there's no cap on serving terms. So for example, how long has Elisa been on this board? Does anyone know?
I don't know right off the top of my head. I think in your board appointment books, it tells you when they were just appointed.
Oh,
Terry has his out, you could ask Terry.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Preservation Board. We have 3 terms that are up. Harold Andreessen, Kathy Looper Nelson, and Terry Lilac. We have Jane L. Flores, Cody Walding, Jennifer Feldkamp, Marianne Sturts, Marion McReynolds, Deborah Perimeter, and Cody Flynn. They're also interested. Pretty good selection. Young folks that are interested.
Cody, oh yes, both, okay, Cody, Terry, Jenny.
You should have them there for Harold Andreessen and
Okay,
Terry
yes,
Lilac.
okay, here's Harold Andreessen, who's a sitting member. I'm willing to serve on the Lincoln County Preservation Board. Harold Andreessen. Terry Lilac, to Dawn. I hope this email will suffice as a written notice that I'm interested in serving again on the Lincoln County Preservation Board. If you have any questions, please let me know. Janelle, how do you say that, Flores?
Flores.
To the Lincoln County Commissioners, I am interested in serving on the Lincoln County Preservation Board. As a citizen who is interested and passionate about history and preserving as much as possible of our historic environment, I would like to be involved with this work. Please keep me informed as to the status of this board. Thank you, Janelle Flores.
Should have one from Cody Walding.
Cody Wolting to Dawn. I would be willing to serve on the Lincoln County, on the Preservation Board if needed. Thank you. Cody Wolting.
Should be one there from Jennifer Phillips.
Jennifer Feldkamp. My name is Jennifer Feldkamp, and I'm interested in joining the Lincoln County Preservation Board. My phone number is, and my email address is Jennifer Feldkamp. Marianne Sturts is the next one. I, Marianne Sturts, would like to be on the board of Lincoln County Preservation, and she gives her information. And to the Lincoln County Board. I am interested in serving on the Lincoln County Preservation Board, and she gives her email and phone number. And I am interested in serving on the Lincoln County Preservation Board. My email address is, and phone number is, and that is Deborah Parmenter. Is that how you say that?
I think it's Parmenter. but I'm not
Parmenter.
sure.
Okay.
And then Cody's, I think, was on the email that you read earlier.
Well, the three that are up are all from your area. Not that that makes a difference, but it looks to be fairly balanced throughout the county. The remaining members. And you weren't able to reach Kathy, is that correct?
No, I've called and I didn't catch her at home. I don't have another number.
Most everybody on there has been on there for a long period of time. With the exception of Terry. Terry's only been on, she's been on there the shortest 3 years. I think they're all active. I guess they're all, like I say, they're all from up in Sylvan Grove area. I don't know if you want to recommend the ones that you would like to see reappointed to there, or
How many
appoint new
total are on
ones,
that
or-
board? How many total
I
are on
think
that
there's
board?
9,
9 total.
I believe. Four. Yeah, 9 total. I guess Penny, I guess, is from town here, isn't he? Penny's from Lincoln. Kathy and Terry are from Sylvan area. It's hard to replace people that have been really active on boards, but there also occasionally, I guess, needs to be some new blood. Do you have any suggestions, Alexis?
Nope.
Keep the ones on there that's currently on there from your area?
I find it interesting you now choose to look to me for guidance.
Do what?
Everyone else you've had quite the opinion about. I'm waiting to see what the
Well,
status quo should be here.
They were from your area, I didn't know. I thought maybe you'd like to have some say-so in it. I think all the ones that are on there currently are all active in the preservation board. And I'm not saying that a new one wouldn't be active, but
Well, my suggestion is all of these people have left us their contact information. I think we should maybe ask them for a further explanation as to, I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people interested, potentially 10, I guess, in 3 positions. And the way I'm seeing it, if you're gonna make a decision now, it's based on who their name is. And that's a trend we've seen, so.
do you want them to submit something else in writing, or what would you like to see them do?
I think it might be appropriate, since they've all asked us to contact them if we feel that we need any further information, just to ask them, you know, for an explanation of their interest or what they feel they would bring to the table. Did you have a comment?
I just wondered if since there's a question, you should open it up, advertise it in the paper, since there were so many people apply. Would you resubmit and then, you know, ask for your, recommendation that they applied, giving reasons why or their background. So, I did not hear anything from Marion Reynolds.
I did read it. I am interested in serving on the Lincoln County Preservation Board. My email address and my phone number, and then just signature. Which, like I said, I mean, that's a direct reply to the ad, because we didn't really ask for anything, and so when you get 9 people,
It's hard to.
you're just making that decision based on whether you know them or not, and I'm not comfortable with that.
So there's 7 new people, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. It had by far the most interest, kind of surprising.
Is there a requirement of having to live here in the county? Because one of them does not.
Oh,
I mean, like,
I didn't realize.
majority of time of the year.
yeah, you should live in, I think that, I don't think we have any, do we have any requirements for any of these boards?
Yeah.
The fire district is
Some-
within their fire district.
Yeah,
It might be appropriate to say within county resident. See,
But a part-time resident should still be considered a resident.
we always try to keep it kind of spread out,
it's true.
so it's not all concentrated in one area. Well, we can leave the preservation board and request some more information from those people as to why what their interests are and why they want to serve on the board.
I would agree with that.
It is a pretty large group, so. Don, did you draft a letter and send back out to those people that requesting?
When do you want a response, reply?
The provision would be for their position and a little more detail.
Do they meet monthly?
No.
I don't think they meet, but if they have a project.
So then by the end of the month, maybe, would be my suggestion.
I don't think they,
If we don't have to get anything set in stone before their meeting, then
Okay, we'll move on to the Delia Pitter Inheritance Guideline Committee.
I have a letter here to whom it may concern. I would be interested in helping with the following committees if volunteers are needed. The Delia Pittard Inheritance Guideline Committee and the Children's Healthcare Endowment Fund Guideline Committee. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, Dayton Walter. The incumbent seat has indicated that she would gladly relinquish it to someone else who's interested, so I move to appoint Dayton Walter to the Delia Pittard Inheritance Guideline Committee.
You wanna do the healthcare endowment also, same time, same version?
I'd rather do it in a separate motion. but-
Okay. I have a motion to appoint Dayton Walter to the Delia Pittard Inheritance Guideline Committee. Do I have a second?
No, second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now we have the Children's Healthcare Endowment Fund Committee. Again, we have Dayton Walters and the incumbent person who is no longer interested.
I move to appoint Dayton Walter to the Children's Healthcare Endowment Fund Guideline Committee.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
No, second.
A motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, last one.
Okay, Dawn, am I missing one from Tammy Reese?
It's there someplace.
Oh, you saw it? I didn't.
Yeah, I'd say it was written,
Handwritten?
potentially,
Yeah, it was written on her.
it was kind of close to Dennis Alquist.
I think it was a letter, Dawn's.
I think she brought his and hers up. May have been on the bottom of my letter.
I don't know, it's off someplace.
We have the Web Fund Board,
Yeah,
and Tammy Reese is the incumbent seat who has indicated reapplication, which I do not see it here. I don't know.
yeah, I saw it earlier.
And then we have two interests, Ty Feldkamp and Jim Metz.
That's done by the Commissioner District, and Ty Feldkamp and Jim, neither one live in the second Commission District, so.
We do have a stipulation on the members for that
Yes.
board. Here. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. Dawn, I would like to continue to serve on the web board, Tammy Reese. So how is that board
One person.
divided?
One person from each commission district, one representative from economic development, and the chairman of the commission,
So it's just 5 people?
yes.
I move we appoint Tammy Reese.
I have a motion to reappoint Tammy Reese to the Web Fund Board. Do I have a second? I have a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have one more deal here.
Before you move on to that though, the Web Fund Committee, the board, so that's what their own bylaws say, that there will be those 5 members?
That's the way it was set up, yeah. Back in December, we had a position open on the Flint Hills Area Agency on Aging, and they usually notify us when that opens, but they didn't. But Don did call them because we had a letter of interest in it quite some time ago. But Don contacted them, and the position is open, and slipped their mind, I guess, to notify us.
The Area Agency on Aging?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she said, the person I talked to said they don't normally send us notice when the person elects not to resign. And I said that we didn't know that we had a position open, I guess we probably should have known.
Did we have someone in that position?
Les Richards is who was in the position, but his term expired in December. He was eligible for a second term, but he chose not to and notified them that he chose not to.
But we talked about this, and one of you said that he had indicated interest. We
No.
did talk about this at a meeting.
No,
We
no, no.
talked about the silver-haired legislature, I recall.
Yeah,
So is this an old letter that?
yes.
Yes, that was from that time.
Okay, yeah, because I remember seeing this and we talked about it and someone said, oh no, he called in or something.
Well, he wasn't resigning, he just wasn't going to go into a second term. He didn't resign, he just was gonna end in December when his term ended.
Yeah, because Keith Vestal's wife, Barbara,
I don't
had
remember.
called and said that she was at the meeting and said that Les Richards has resigned and that Keith would be interested in taking the silver-haired legislature position back on. And she would help him with that. However, we never received a resignation for either board. So, and as far as I know, now you guys might have received something from the Flint Hills Area Agency on Aging, but I didn't get it in my stuff to file, so
Not-
I don't know if they ever sent you notice that
Not-
their term was
Not that I'm
expired.
aware of, they haven't said anything on it.
Okay, so to whom it may concern, Lincoln County Commissioners, recently Les Richards officially resigned as silver-haired legislator, and I was told that I could have the position since I ran against him at the election. At that time, no one else, including Keith Vestal, said they wanted to run, and Keith had told me directly that he did not want it anymore. So I ran and have been waiting to hear back from the Agency on Aging and Terry Finch, my representative. I contacted Dawn Harlow and asked to have her give my phone number to Terry and for him to call, including phone number. I would like to fill the position now that it has become officially open. I have attended the meetings in Topeka, going with Ottawa County, I think it says, silver-haired legislators, and have noticed that no one from Lincoln attends. I would like to also be considered for the board that Glenn Stegman was appointed to. Thanks for your consideration, Cynthia Nelson.
I can't speak for the silver-haired legislature, that's an election. So, I don't know if he is,
May I speak?
Yeah.
I called Manhattan at that time. There was some incident that happened at the Lincoln Senior Center where Les resigned from both. But then it came back that he only wanted to resign as the 18 county, and he would fulfill his term, and then he did not want to run again. That's just on the 18th. He decided then to rescind his resignation and continue as a silver-haired legislator. There's some, I don't know, they told me in Manhattan that, there was someone that was sick that had run against him, they would be the person that would fulfill that term. How long that term is, I have no idea.
So my question is, are we talking about two different positions?
yes.
There's the silver-haired legislator that you said in your letter that you've attended and no one from Lincoln has been going.
I was there that he resigned, so I heard him say that, but then different things have happened, and I think Manhattan required him to put something in writing. I don't think that ever happened. I don't know.
But his term on Flint Hills expired in December.
So he was the silver-haired legislator going to Topeka and the Flint Hills Area Agency on Aging representative from Lincoln County.
One of them, there's two.
And Glenn Stegman was the other one on the 18th.
So which position is open now?
The
Les.
Flint Hills Area Agency on Aging.
Yeah,
Board
the
member
Flint Hills
position.
Area Agency on Aging.
It's
That's
been
the one I
open.
called about.
Okay.
And the reason I wanted to apply for it, because I've gone in a previous position many times to Topeka, and when they call roll, nobody answers from Lincoln. So I was advised from Saline County, Ottawa County, and several representatives that why don't you do it, so I did. Apply. that is.
So are you interested in the Council on Aging, Flint Hills Council on Aging position?
Yes. I'd like to continue to go. You can go whether you are
Yeah.
appointed or not, and I just thought it was valuable to know what
The,
should come down the pipe for all the
yeah, I
agencies.
mean, the silver-haired legislature is done by an election, isn't
Yes,
it?
correct.
So I assume they'll be having another one.
Whatever the how long that term is, Les will keep
Yeah.
that position.
I'd move we appoint Cindy Nelson as a representative to the Flint Hills Council on Aging.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to
It's Area Agency on Aging.
Yes.
Flint Hills Area Agency on Aging. Appoint Cynthia Nelson to the Flint Hills Area Agency on Aging. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
There is one thing I could add. At the time, I thought, Terry, you were my representative, but then I learned that I live on the wrong side of the street.
You're on the wrong side of the street.
And so Aljo is my representative. I went into the clerk's office and said, now wait a minute. And so if you cross the street, Terry to the south, me, I'm on the north. So Aljo is my representative.
Thank you.
Oh,
Great.
I'm sure you're thrilled.
Have one more than I did yesterday.
No,
Okay, I just wanted.
been there all
to
along.
remind
She just didn't know
everyone
which side of the street she was on.
Correct?
It's what I type, sometimes I don't. And that one I'll have to call to find out what the expiration is. Before I do that, so.
Yeah, so last council on aging, Rose, what is her last name? From Manhattan, asked how come I hadn't been to the meeting because they assumed I was, and then I said, well, I think it has to come from above. Well, depending on senator.
Okay, going back to our first appointment here today, so Truett McQueen said that it's no longer a statutory duty for him to provide these progress reports, but I still think that it would be prudent for the commission to know where he is in that process. So, we did motion for that last week, and Dawn, did you relay anything to him, or how is that process supposed to work if we create a motion and it's up to someone to contact? I mean, is that, are you?
I normally let them know after you guys have approved the minutes, so.
Okay, so we still are requesting, according to last week's motion, for a progress report. Now, he's saying statutorily that that isn't required for him to keep those on file, which is why I assume we don't have any.
Well,
said-
he used to have to send them to Topeka, that's what he said.
Which would mean he keeps them on file, but since he doesn't have those, we still, I mean, the commission can still request a progress report so that we know where he is in that process.
Yeah, I think we did last week, didn't we?
Yes, so, okay, I'll just point of clarification there. So that he knows, because I'm not sure if, he would otherwise know that, except for he seemed to know because he,
Well, I kinda had told them, but until it's official, really.
well, and I had asked,
And they get the minutes too. so
and I had
it's-
asked Rhonda if she has those on file, and she said
And
they're on.
your open records request is available in their office.
So do we have all of his progress reports up until the point where the state quit demanding them?
I don't know what she has for you.
Okay,
Prepared, but now that I think about it, I was supposed to pull the contracts, so not all of it's there yet, but I'll go up and pull the contracts.
okay. Okay, I request to seek an Attorney General opinion on KSA 75-4301A and KSA 75-4304. For guidance on commission action. For the current contract out of the county attorney's budget.
I have a motion, do I have a second? Motion died for lack of a second.
I move to change the end of the month meeting to an evening time. That day is a holiday. Is that going to be, are you working? No one's working probably, so would that
Is
be?
that Good Friday?
Mhm.
We're open, that's not one of our holidays,
It's not a state holiday, okay,
or it's not a county holiday. I think the state gives them as well.
okay.
Have a motion on the floor, do we have a second? Motion died for lack of a second.
Another item I wanted to address, Aljo, earlier you said toward the Lincoln County Council on Aging when you were giving your remarks about trust that they should not allow the public opinion to interfere. I'm very concerned with that.
I meant during the meetings, if I didn't mean that, that's what I meant. The public opinion needs to be refrained from during their meetings, that they are having their meeting. Unless they ask for public input, it should not be allowed.
So what steps are we going to take as a follow-up to the concerns that we need to address with that issue, the funding? I mean, on one hand, you're saying we have no control or authority over that organization once we give them the money, which is technically true, but yet you're refusing to make any preemptive motion to control that money ourselves. So what now do you propose to solve this issue?
Talking to me.
Either. I mean, you both had a
Well,
general consensus there. You didn't second my motion to take responsibility for the money ourselves, so.
I guess research some of the facts, look at the figures that I don't have in front of me right now.
But you've both said that we have no control over that. So regardless of what happens with that audit on those three organizations, that doesn't affect what our powers are. And our powers are to distribute the money. And so my motion was to take responsibility ourselves to distribute that money to those people who come forward with their organizations under the pretense that they are capable of receiving because they provide service programs for the elderly. So really, for us to get involved in that audit or to get involved in anything that has to do with that, if you're saying we don't have authority over it anyhow, that's just it's rerouting, our responsibility. We need to take responsibility for the money when we have it in our hands. And right now, we have distributed 62% of it. So what are we going to do with the rest?
We're not gonna do anything with it until June,
Mm-hmm.
the end of June.
Mm-hmm.
We normally do it.
So are we going to have a board review of the charter resolution? I think that's where we should start, so that we all have an understanding of what who is responsible for the money and what the money was proposed to do.
Yeah, I've got it at home. I'm sure I can review it. I'd also like to see the results of the audit. I would think it would be ready before June.
Are you aware, or were you aware prior to today, my explanation that other counties do directly distribute their funds?
Yes, I was aware of it.
So what is the benefit of Lincoln County doing
Because the
it?
Council on Aging also provides service to the elderly people in the county.
Which is what?
She helps them with the prescription drug stuff. She helps some of them with their, I can't think of what you call it, tax deal.
Are you talking about SHIC?
Well, the ship too, but if you ever been down there at the meeting, you can sit there in that meeting, that phone will ring 3 or 4 times during the meeting, won't it, Nancy? People will come in the door. It's not like she's sitting there doing nothing.
I'm asking what services are provided by the Council on Aging.
I don't have the list of them in front of me. I know you like to play that game, but I don't have the list of their services in front of me. So if I say something that's not exactly correct, then you're gonna exploit it. So I'll wait and pass on that until I have an accurate list of what it is they do.
Okay, so we can pick up discussion on this next week then?
We'll see what the agenda looks like next week. I don't have any idea.
Well, you can have some of my time slot if you want to bring your information for accuracy.
Are you asking for what the Council on Aging does, or for particularly what the area coordinator does?
I'm asking, in my mind, we are the commission and we collect about $112,000, okay? And it is supposed to be redistributed by us to service programs for the elderly, is exactly verbatim what it reads in the resolution, okay? So when
We didn't collect that, we only collected $75,000.
Correct, we did, correct. So up to 2 mils, which would be the 112 something. But, thanks for the correction. What I'm getting at is that when we give that money out to these organizations, they are supposed to be providing service programs for the elderly. So, okay, the senior centers do their thing. One has the meal program, which is also subsidized by another agency.
But the meal program is not an activity. It's not defined as that. It's a separate entity in itself. It has to have certain, in order to have a Meals on Wheels, you have to have a full kitchen to do that.
Okay. Okay, so
I
they
really
do
wouldn't
other things,
consider it as part
it's
of
not
this
part of what
activity.
we're funding as a county.
Right.
Okay, so we're funding them to have cards and puzzles.
That's what I'm asking, what are those
I
activities?
don't, I'm just guessing, because I've seen the card table out there, or the puzzle maybe being put together, at the Lincoln Senior Center, and then they have their meetings, and whatever they might do for that, I don't know. I know personally, with experience at the Senior Center in Sylvan, they do cards sometimes, and there's a program where they do exercise, and there's potluck meals, and they do all kinds of other activities, and some of them are private fundraising, and some of them are just come and be at the facility and partake in these activities. So the service that I would say that the senior centers are providing are activities for elderly to get out of their home and come and participate in a group setting. And there are also the health nurse visits. There are some other things, they can get information at those two sites for even furthering their knowledge of services that are available through the state.
I questioned about, were you wanting what the council did? Or were you
Yes, as
asking
those
what the
two,
area
as those,
coordinator did?
no,
Because
what does the council provide as far as a service?
That's
Because
what I
we're
thought I heard
funding
you say.
Lincoln Senior Center, we're funding the Sylvan Senior Center, and we're funding the Council on Aging. What does the Council on Aging,
Well,
provide
I
as a
don't know
service?
what the council itself as, but the area coordinator provides all these advice for people when they turn 65 or 62 when they start taking Medicare, and what kind of insurance they can have. And
That is the
that's very
SHIC program that I
it is
understand.
hard, but I think Teresa is a, excuse my terminology, a wizard chick. I'm not sure, but there's a position over that. There's SHIC that is volunteers. She does a lot of that training for them. So I'm not sure how that is defined. That's why I'm asking, do you want to know what the area coordinator's job description is? Is there a job description? I'm just asking.
I don't know.
And
Does
what the
anyone know
area
the answer to that question?
coordinator
I believe they have a job description for the coordinator.
does. I know there was one that's from Manhattan, because I asked for it myself. But that's why I'm just clarifying what exactly, or should you ask about both?
I mean, to me, this is reminding me of the bus board scenario. We are paying the bus board to have an employee. And
No, we don't pay the bus board.
They
funding.
hire us.
Do you want me to use the word funding? We are funding the bus board, and they in turn pay an employee. And according to my conversations with John in the past, we were not treating that person as a county employee. But when the audit came through and said, wait a minute, you are directly funding the bus board, who then in turn has an employee. That's your employee. Am I wrong?
And we were also paying all of their bills and their payroll. So there's a little bit of a difference. We're paying all of the expenses for transportation bus. We were doing everything. We're even giving them an office to work out of. We were paying their payroll. We were paying their bills. We were paying everything.
Okay,
So
but the
that's-
Council on Aging doesn't have any other funding. They are 100% funded through the county.
But we don't pay their expenses. We give them X amount of dollars, whatever that mill levy was, and then it's up to them to distribute the funds. That's the difference, where with
Okay,
transportation
okay.
bus, we were maintaining it.
Okay, so we're giving
there's an added
the
component.
council funds based on the fact that anyone who gets those funds is supposed to provide programs for the elderly. I don't see the Council on Aging providing programs.
I
If you're-
see they're providing services, and the fund name is services for the elderly. Doesn't say programs, it says services. So the question would be.
It says
is the
service programs is what it says. Service programs for the elderly. That's the verbatim.
It's probably catch-22, I'm not sure how we're going to define it. But I think it's a worthwhile question to know how that decision is made by council members.
Well, in conversations that I've had to find out how the commission distributes the money in Ellsworth County, in Russell County, in Mitchell County, so that same position as a coordinator, or whatever you want to call it, that does provide information to people who call in, who are elderly and seeking advice on healthcare and insurance, that person in larger counties is at a much lower pay scale as far as putting in time. It's a part-time position in Ellsworth County, and they have 3 times the population. So it cut.
Sometimes it's a voluntary position.
Well, and they have additional volunteers, I understand, just like, I think there was one in Sylvan here not too long ago that provides that same SHIC counseling, it's called, so that you can go to that person where you would meet up maybe at the senior center or something if you're, if you didn't go to the person's home, but that's where you can get that type of information. You're not directly giving that person something or doing something other than giving them information.
Is it correct that my understanding is the money that comes from mill levy money goes to the council, and then a salary is paid from that to the area court?
Yes, because the Council on Aging does not have any other form of income. They do not do fundraising, they have no other solicitations, they are 100% tax funded, which makes them subject to open records and open meetings. Now, the senior centers themselves have public funding and private funding. So they are not necessarily subject to the same, they have to release their books to trace the path of the public money that was given and spent. But the private funds that are generated through donations or fundraising, that's not up to, they don't have to release that information to anyone.
It depends, I think, a lot on whether they want to keep a 501(c) status.
Oh, that's true.
From what I read, you do have to turn all your financials in if you want to retain 501(c)(3).
Well, you might be correcting me.
Whatever you made, if you're saying senior center, let's say does concession stands, is running that, that's then, if it's a senior center and they're a 501(c)(3), that is then up for them to turn that information in.
But is that public information or?
And I don't play one on TV.
Yeah, I don't know. You might be right, actually, now that I think about that, because I forgot about how holding a status of a nonprofit. But when I had requested information from the Council on Aging more than a year ago, I was told that I was not privy to any information that they had other than the yearly report that the council turns into the county, which is by statute what they have to do. But I can't remember now. I think that is the requirement of the 501(c)(3. That really wasn't based on the fact that they're 100% publicly funded. I think it was just the fact that if you are a 501(c)(3, you have to have some sort of financial record of
Everything,
your yearly, yeah.
every money that goes through.
But I'm not 100% sure on the details of all that. That's a good point.
I do know that whether you're a Lincoln Senior Center or a Sylvan Senior Center or a Council on Aging, your records need to be open. And they should be there. If I walked in today and asked to have something seen, I should be able to be provided.
Well, we're already running a couple hours over, so we're gonna adjourn until next Monday. 12th, I believe.
Yes, the 12th.